Hello everyone, how are you? Watched Alone this week. So here's the recap of what happened and show the progress up to day 21 of 5 of the 9 contestants that are left. Tom. He's coming a long way with his permanent shelter. It looks pretty cool looking. Like he's working on the side of it to enclose it. And then he decided, I'm gonna go hunting. He said, I'm getting game, I'm getting fish left, right, and center where he's at, his location. He shot a whiskey jack with a nice arrow shot. In case you don't know, whiskey jack is a type of bird related to the crow family. Then he noosed the feathers from it and made a fly. Went fishing and he caught like a large brook trout. That thing was humongous size. He's like double jackpot. Went back to camp, cooked all that up together, set down the campfire, relaxed, enjoyed himself, had the food. And he told us that in New York City, there's some restaurants that charge you $35 for a small piece of fish laid over some like green leaf spinach stuff. And you know what seasoning they give you? Actual sand. That's right, they sprinkle sand all over it. Like he said, I don't know about you guys, but $35 for a small piece of fish with some like spinach, lettuce, and that, make it look like it's grass, and actual sand from some seasoning. He said, I'll pass on that. And he said, nope, no thank you. Show the journey of Tomojin. He's doing pretty good. He's kind of worried now that due to the lack of food intake he's getting, like he's been living off of berries. That's about it, just berries he's found so far. That when they do a medical checkup, which happens every season, like every so many days they do a medical checkup, he's afraid that they're going to take him out of the show due to the lack of food intake and the amount of weight he's lost. Like he said, if I get injured, I can fix myself up no problem because of his degree in medical and that from being in the army and all that. He said, if I break my arm, if I, cut my wrist or something like that, or he said if I actually put an arrow through my foot, I can bandage myself up and be good to go. But if it's due to weight loss and that, there's that's out of his control. So he noticed that there's a tree in the woods that the squirrels are going up the top of the tree and knocking a bunch of acorns down, and there's a hole in the ground. So he said the squirrels got a home down there. So he took some of the acorns, set up a trap by the ground, by the hole there. Sure enough, the next day, he caught a squirrel in it. So he's like, right on. So I'm going to eat that squirrel with some berries. So he ate the squirrel up. Then he cooked a bunch of berries up he called it berry soup. Because he just cooked those berries. So it was just like a broth. And just slipped the whole thing down from the bowl. Benji got his beaver, folks. Went back the next morning. The beaver's at the shore of the lake. Picked it up. He said, I hope the meat's still good and it hasn't spoiled for being out all night and that. He skinned the beaver at the campsite. Skinned it, gutted it up. He said, I can use that fur for stuff. He said, I can use the beaver tail for something. And then he's going to preserve the beaver meat. He's going to play smart. So he took some snare wire he had, wrapped it between two sticks, and then he put the pieces of meat all over the wire and cooking it up slowly. He's going to preserve it and eat so much of it a day. Then he ate the fat from the beaver, cooked that all up, ate all the fat at his campsite, and then he decided the next plan for him, he wants to get a bear. Because if I got bear meat and that bear fur when winter comes, he's got it made, he thinks. So he said, I got to bait the bear. So he went half a mile away from his campsite and took all the beaver guts and the intestines and all that. And he had there's an empty birdseed bag he had found in the woods. Used that to carry the beaver insides and stuff. And he baited the bear. He set his camera up to show what if the bear comes up. Sure enough, a black bear showed up, ate everything. So he's got super excited. There's a black bear in the area now. So now he's like, I'm going bear hunting now. They showed Terry. Terry is nervous because it don't matter how much food he eats, fish, squirrel, birds, a grouse, whatever he can get his hands on and kills to eat, his body just burns it away right fast. And he's also been constipated for 12 days straight and has not had a poop. So on day 19, he had major muscle spasm pains. And then on the next day, he was jumping up for joy and excited. He said, I'm going hunting, because he had a poop. He said, I'm no longer constipated. He said, I laughed so hard. He said, he's going to try nighttime hunting, because he wants some beaver. So he went out hunting on day 20. At 6:29 a.m., he shot a beaver out in the lake, but it didn't come close to shore. So at 7:29 a.m., he called it quits. Went back to camp, worked on the shelter and that. Went back the next night, got the beaver. But a problem happened. He killed the beaver, and the beaver started floating. Instead of floating closer to the lake shore where he's at, it floated further away because of the current of the water. So now the beaver is out in the middle of the lake, so he's like, I am not missing a chance on this beaver. He stripped his clothes off down to his underwear, and he went in that cold, freezing water, folks, and he got that beaver meat. He said, if I get hypothermia, that's all good. I'll just warm myself up at the campfire, he said, because I am not losing this beaver meat. The last contestant they talked about, they showed that the journey was Argor. On day 18, folks, he has made no progress whatsoever on the shelter. He don't even have walls or door. All thing he's got is like a square platform. Because he said every day when he brings out a piece of wood and a log he cuts down, a tree, he's exhausted. And his back pains him. He's been eating nothing but seaweed for the 20 days straight now. Nothing but pure seaweed. He did found some like clams on the shore. He ate some of those, but he said that's all he's been able to find because he doesn't want to go further in the woods to hunt game. So he knew some of the charcoal from his campfire for a substitute for toothpaste to brush his teeth. On day 20, he decided to call it quits, folks. He's left the show on day 20 because he had no progress done on his shelter. His back was too sore, and he felt that his heartbeat was becoming irregular, and he was worried about that. So he called it quits. He tapped out on day 20, folks. So now we're down to 8 contestants out of the 10. Who you think's going home next? Do you think that Benji and Terry, now that they both got beaver meat and that, and they're both going after beer now, do you think they're going to be one of the final 2 or something? I think they're going to be in the final 5, I think. Let me know below who you like to see win the show, who you don't want to see win the show. And what did you think of Argor choosing his shelter so close to the lake and making no progress whatsoever? What did you think of that? Let me know below your comments below. Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.